Hello from my studio space. This is Swan with Blank Canvas and Coffee. Today's how-to art tutorial includes 2 segments with a coffee break. I am working from a still life while I demonstrate how to draw on an artboard and create an underdrawing with pastel pencils. Drawing with a pastel pencil allows for the drawing to not only stand out on the board, but will also mix in with the acrylic paint during the painting process. I am using 2 colors, a darker pink shade to start the underdrawing and a lighter white pastel for highlighting areas for easier viewing. This is a study of one object that I am going to center on the artboard. To begin the drawing, I am gauging by eye to start where I believe the ellipse should be and what the shape should be. To check my work, I am marking the vanishing point at the top of the artboard. From there, I can use the different angles to confirm that I am seeing the object and its shape correctly. Using perspective, I am able to see the angle of the ellipse and where the edges of the ellipse should be. This way, I can easily correct my work. Double checking where the vanishing point is and smoothing out that area where the ellipse wraps around the top of the bowl. Now I can see where the adjustments need to be made, and I can go back in and correct the shape of the ellipse. Next is to check the angle of the size of the object by holding my drawing tool up and angling it to match the angle I see. Then draw the lines in with confidence. Double checking throughout the process and going back in to make the corrections will save time later on. Just keep going back in and checking and correct as needed. The bottom portion of the object looks a little off. I will create the bottom corners of the imaginary box that the object is contained in and confirm the angles and the shape of the bottom ellipse. Since the bottom portion of the object is narrower than the top portion of the object, the corners of the imaginary box that I am creating are going to line up with the ellipse at the bottom of the object. And again, correct as needed as you go. Using the tool of perspective has allowed me to see the object correctly. And here I can make the final adjustment using the tool of perspective to draw the base of the bowl in the correct perspective. I am adding the white pastel to highlight the shape of the object and to see the points of perspective more easily. And I can continue to check my work while I'm adding in these highlights and confirm that this is the direction I'd like to take the drawing. Now to add in some values using line drawing. The top lip of the bowl should show how the light source wraps around the edge, similar to how light wraps around a cylinder shape. This is just an arrow or cylinder. Think of how a label wraps around a soup can. Just keep looking at the shape until you understand how the light wraps around the shape. This little mini sketch is helping me see where the shapes of the highlights are and the darker tones of the value. And sometimes doing a little mini sketch on the side can help give you the confidence you need to put it down on the board or paper in your finished drawing or in your underdrawing. I give you the underdrawing. More drawing coming up after this quick break. In this segment, I am continuing the underdrawing to include the detailed design shown on the bowl. But first, I'll finish the line drawing describing the value of the object. When studying the details, I like to start from one reference point and build out the design from there based on what I'm seeing. Using different reference points to gauge where the detailed elements of the design on the bowl should be placed, I am starting with what looks like the center of the design and adding points in either direction to build the shapes of the detailed element. I could also draw a line showing the top of the design and an additional line showing the bottom of the design first to use as a guide. Sometimes it's hard to wait to dive into fun detailed work. However you confirm that everything looks right to you, know that you will get to where you need to be at the end of the drawing. This is your work. Helpful tips about drawing and painting are good to pick up from other artists. But if you feel more comfortable with a technique you are already using, then maybe that's what works for you. This is starting to look a little off. Going back in to check my work, I am studying the angles and seeing that some adjustments are needed. There's that line, wrapping around the object. Wrap that line and imagine you are drawing the line around the entire bowl. This guide is making the process go a little faster. Remind yourself where the light source is coming from, so that it's easier to see where the light and shadow in the interior of the bowl should be. Similar to the outside of the object, the same concept of wrapping the line around the object applies. You can use the reflections you see inside the bowl or object to give it interest. Step back and check your work. This line looks like this and should not look like this. Checking the angle one last time. Now for the cast shadow, starting here. Where is that light source coming from? And the angles are checked. Lines are drawn to create the cast shadow. And this underdrawing has provided me enough information to start my painting. Thank you so much for watching my blank canvas and coffee video, and I hope to see you next time when we view another blank canvas together and maybe have some time to enjoy some coffee. If you enjoyed today's art session, please don't forget to like and subscribe at the bottom of this video, and please click on the bell to receive a notification for my next art session. See you next time.